Jericho's walls aren't just tall, they're a statement. This is Israel's first fight in the Promised Land, and inside lives Rahab, a prostitute on the margins of a city already terrified. When two Israelite spies slip into her house, she doesn't turn them in. She hides them under stalks of flax on her roof as the king's men pound at her door. Why risk execution for strangers? Because Rahab tells them plainly, I know the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on earth below. That confession, spoken by a Canaanite woman with nothing to gain, is the hinge her whole story turns on. She doesn't bargain from a position of power. She gambles everything on a God she's only heard about, and that raw faith becomes her rescue. So the spies make her a promise. When Jericho falls, she and everyone inside her house will be spared. But they need a sign, something visible, something that will mark her home as different from every other house on that wall. She ties a scarlet cord in the same window where she lowered them to safety. That thin red rope becomes her lifeline. Now here's where her faith stops being just words and becomes action. She doesn't just hang the cord and hope for the best. She goes out and gathers her whole family, her father, mother, brothers, sisters, and brings them all into her house. Can you imagine the conversations? Her relatives probably thought she'd lost her mind, hiding in a house with a flimsy rope while the army of Israel surrounded the city. But Rahab trusted that this thin red thread would hold more weight than Jericho's massive walls. That scarlet cord is a raw, physical symbol of deliverance. It foreshadows the blood that would mark doorposts in Egypt during the first Passover. And ultimately, it points forward to the lineage of Christ himself. When the walls fall and the dust settles, Rahab steps out of that house, not as a prostitute of Jericho, but as a daughter of the living God. The same woman who once lived defined by her past is now brought into the camp of Israel. She leaves behind her old name, her old identity, everything. And here's where the story gets wild. Rahab marries Salmon, a prince of Judah. She becomes the mother of Boaz, yes, that Boaz, the one who marries Ruth. Do you see what just happened? A Canaanite prostitute is now woven into the bloodline that leads straight to King David, and generations later to Jesus himself. That scarlet thread didn't just save her life. It marked the beginning of a lineage that would change the world. God doesn't write straight lines with crooked people. He writes masterpieces. Rahab's story proves that your past is never the end of your story. It's just the beginning.